crazy atmosphere last week. Your guys performed well, especially on offense. And second half, to be able to win that against the number 3 team in the country has to be a little something to build on. And there were positives in that contest.
No, there weren't. The same thing I'm gonna tell the team is that there is some positives. Colton Dowell winning some one-on-one matchups, having over 100 yards, receiving. Dresser made some throws. I thought the time the offensive line, even the first half, I thought the offensive line, there was some physicality. There was some sense of urgency. I was, pleased with that. So those are some good things. Offensively, I'm sure Dresser will be the first one to tell you, a crucial pick right there. And he's better than that and got more experience for that. And then, Sam is a young back. That's a practice habit that he hasn't corrected, and I got to do a better job of coaching him. But that was big right there, and that kind of opened the floodgates, and then they continue to capitalize on that. I thought at times, we were difficult. Did some for us defensive line wise. I thought we dented some things up front, and so I was encouraged, with that. But you bust coverage, and you give them short fields, and now they up to this point have done that against everybody on a weekly basis. So that's that. But when you know what's coming and you still can't get your communication down, and you're just cutting guys free, that's very disappointing. So. No moral victories. You play who's on your schedule, and then you move on. But each week, though, you do learn from things that you do well and things that you certainly got to improve on. And so now we're back. Another non-conference game on the road. We haven't gone on the road and stayed the night and got a win yet. So that's something we'll talk about this week. And we came out of the game relatively healthy. Colton seems to be okay, so get him back this week, and that's important to us.
You head into this Southland matchup against Houston Christian. What have you kind of seen from them so far, and how do you, match up against them?
Just started really, watch tape yesterday and today, and learning more about them on a minute by minute, hour by hour basis. No common opponents except for Lindenwood. And of course, very tight game for them. And that was early in the season. I think they've done some things to, defensively. They kind of get in your face in their coverages, and safety is very active in the run game. And so certainly different. Every week's a different challenge, X's and O's, and this is one of them. They've kind of gone to a lot of pass lately, which has been our Achilles heel up to this point. Right now we've certainly got to improve in our coverages and, be able to, just do what you're coached to do, be where you're supposed to be, give us a chance to make quarterbacks have to find the windows and not cut guys loose.
Like Coach once said, you are what your record says you are, and Houston Baptist is 2-5. But do they look like a 2-5 team to you when you look at them?
No, I mean we're 4-3, and I think we're better than that. So you go back and look at everybody's schedule and see who they play and that kind of stuff. There's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, Tennessee Tech. I don't. Y'all were here at the game. Y'all saw they take Kennesaw State, into overtime. So there's not a whole. There's a lot of parity when it comes to it, and you're one busted coverage away or one coverage sack from getting that win. And so Murray State's, I think, better than what their record indicates, and one injury can definitely just really change the complexion of your football team.
Tennessee just kind of bridged the gap. UT Martin's defense forced Tennessee to actually drive the ball a couple times. How does that kind of transition over to the last 4 games of the year? Because I think a lot of us, Tennessee was going to score. Just the ability to make Tennessee drive the ball is not something that a lot of schools are able to do.
Well, it's a good scheme by our defensive staff, good execution by our players. Very pleased with that. Just you got to do it consistently. You can't just do it one drive. You have to be able to repeat. We talk about not only handling the failures that you have in a game, and this goes for every game, but you also have to handle the successes, right? You have to handle the successes and move to the next play and repeat good habits, repeat the execution, repeat, good tackling, all right? And we had some good players in that game that made some crucial mistakes, whether it be bad tackling or miscommunication. and cutting a guy loose. So, but that's how this game is built. You don't always have an opportunity to. Especially on defensive back, right? You can play 50 good plays and 8 bad ones, and that can be 28 points on you pretty quickly. So we've got to get better in that unit for sure. We've got, what do we have, 10 interceptions. So I'm pleased with that. But we've given up 22 touchdown passes and roughly 300 yards a game passing. So got to improve it.
You guys had a few. Ideally, you want to be playing your best football as every week goes by. You get that litmus test of FBS. Humility, mentality, is there any fixing there when you're that late in the year? You lose like that, and then you've got to kind of reset going into.
You know what? It'd be addressed today briefly from the standpoint of, obviously, players were excited the last 2 weeks. They knew the opportunity that they had, the environment that they were going to be in. All right, so now you're going on the road, and the crowd's not going to be as big, and it's not going to be as loud, and not as much pageantry, and things like that. So you have to be self motivated. What's important to you? We need to win. We need to get our 5th win. We need to stay ranked. We need to play well. We need to get some momentum going again. So all those things, if will be addressed, and then ultimately the kids have to take responsibility for it, and they will. I'm excited about it.
Do you think that could be an issue, though? I mean, do you think you mentioned addressing it?
I think when you're dealing with 18 to 22 years olds every week, I think there's things on a daily basis that come up that can affect. I mean, you see different wins and losses every week, right? And you say, how does that happen? How did that team win that? They beat so-and-so, or they played, happens every week. Mindset is a big part of this game, because you're not playing like baseball, right? You're not playing 5 games a week, right? You're playing 1, and all it takes is to have a bad mindset or bad ball security, and then the complexion of the game is totally changed. It's a weird travel, right? Going just what it is. You go in commercial, so flights are a little different. Having to spend the night on Saturday, come back on Sunday, so it's a little bit different. But the bottom line is, this football team only has 16 quarters of football left together, during the regular season. So we got to embrace that, and every play, make it, have a life of its own.
It's kind of where the saying or the phrase of staying ahead of the game really starts on Monday.
Oh yeah. We got you got to move on. Matter of fact, tomorrow, chance of rain, right? So today's practice schedule is a little different, right? Because there's certain things that I know we need to get done today, because you might be inside tomorrow. There's no dome for us to to go in and beat the weather. So we certainly as a coaching staff have moved to this, as well as you're still trying to make corrections, from the week before, because your team still has to learn and correct mistakes. Most of us are, there's some copycat that you'll do from week to week, right? And same situation can come at you again, and you've got to learn from your past good plays and mistakes as well.
Sean Lewis kind of addressed his development as a corner. Really struggled against Missouri State, but he was in the other day and did some good things. He's continued to improve. Kind of address him, especially him going home this week.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that. That is for him to go home. I'm sure his family and friends are looking forward to seeing him. No, we're very fortunate that Sean's here with us, and he's had some really good games for us. He's been consistent. Looking out yesterday's we're working. He's out here on the field. He's still working on some things. He's taken his senior year, very seriously. Takes coaching on mistakes that he made and tries to improve, the next week. So hopefully, I still think he can play better. I think he'll tell you too. I think there's some mistakes that the mistakes that he's given up, or the plays that he's given at a tough position at corner that he plays. He can play them better the second time around. It's just you don't get an opportunity to correct that mistake until Sunday when you get in here and watch the tape.
Colin Dow's also 41 yards away, becoming the all-time leading receiver for UT Martin. I'm sure that's something you will try to get done early and often on Saturday.
Yeah. He probably, and if he could have stayed in the game, maybe he gets it, on Saturday, and that would have been pretty neat for him. But no, some of those plays he made, that was pretty awesome. versus man coverage, and just very proud of him and stuff. And I know he'll come in today and he'll work and get a game plan. I don't think Colton. I know he hasn't. He's never come to me during the game and said, "Hey, get me the ball." Why am I not getting targeted? Why am I not? And just can't say enough about that of the guy that works, great teammate. And whether he needs to catch 12 catches or the ball only comes to him twice, he's ready to go. And so just a great example to the rest of our team.